Inside the Drag Closet with Jade. Join Jade, DeVere, and her fabulous team of guests as they discuss all things drag, from wigs to makeup to performances and everything in between.
Join us at WLFE-DV.com for upcoming shows and more.
Well, hello there, kids. Welcome to Inside the Drag Closet, the show where we talk about all things drag and some things that aren't. Who knows? We're really just here to have a good time. I am your host, Jade, DeVere. Now I have three W's: who, what, where. Who am I? I'm Jade, DeVere. I am a drag performer. I've been performing for over 10 years. I've actually been performing much longer than that, but I've made the switch from acting to drag, and I've loved every minute of it. What am I wearing? Well, it's funny I should ask that. I actually had a performance just before this show this evening. I was in a production of Macbeth, Death by Fluffy Kittens, hosted by the fantabulous Shakespeare Approves. Now, if you would like to see Death by Fluffy Kittens, we will be hosting a watch party this Sunday. I believe it's at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And you can find that on ShakespeareApproves.com. I believe it will also be on Facebook. Just look for Shakespeare Approves. Follow him anyway, because the show is ridiculous. I mean, come on. Macbeth, Death by Fluffy Kittens. I got to play Lady Macbeth. And of course, I got to do a sales pitch for the Out Damp Spot Remover. That's right. That will be available as well on ShakespeareApproves.com. I'm also, I'm decked out a little bit, even though opulent outfit, most of it's from Wish.com. I'm not going to lie. Velvet dress, nice bra, fun corset. I've always loved this corset. I have two of them, one in blue and one in black. I am wearing a fabulous set of jewelry by Michelle Lee Sterling. She made this set years ago, and I absolutely love it. The crown I got on Amazon. I didn't compete for this. And I'm a redhead tonight. I'm not very often a redhead. It's not a color I do very much, but I ordered it just for Macbeth, and I love it. The real struggle was getting my eyebrows to match. So, and where can you find me? Well, like I said, this Sunday, we will be hosting a watch party for Macbeth, Death by Fluffy Kittens. Most likely, I will be in boy form for that because it's at 11 o'clock in the morning, and that is really early, and I don't want to put all of this on. You can also find me every week here on Inside the Drag Closet on WLFE-DB Radio. I also have my YouTube series, which is called Just Ask Jade, the show where you can ask a drag queen anything. I put out new videos on there. I have moved to doing shows every other week on there, so feel free to send in your questions. If you like the show and you like what I do, you can always, follow me on Instagram or tip me through Venmo. It's Jade DeVere, all one word. And I want to hear from you. If there's anything you would like to see brought to the show, any changes, any performers, if anybody out there would like to be a woo girl for an episode, feel free to reach out to me at insidethedragcloset@gmail.com. Simple as that. Tonight is going to be a really fun show. We have all the way from New York, Miss Angelica Kartiér will be joining us. We have coming all the way down from Connecticut, we've got Giganta Smalls. I'm so excited to see her again. And our woo girl of the week is my gorgeous friend, Gabrielle Dixon. And my co-host this evening is Ms. Fanci DisMount Stratton. Let's see. Do we have any fun comments yet? We got a lot of people watching already. Wow, a lot of people watching. This is fantastic. Well, hello, Ginger Vampire Lovely. Thank you. I really like this look. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. Never be afraid to change up your look. You never know what's going to happen. Let's see, what else have we got? Wow, Jade Gorgeous. Oh, thank you. That's from my wonderful co-host, Miss Anastasia Diamond, who I'm so excited to work with. She is an absolute gem. I love the team we have. A lot. Ooh, Regina Mills. If I was wearing my dark hair, this would definitely be Regina from Once Upon a Time. I love that show. I feel like she was one of the most well-written characters of the last 10 years. If you've never watched Once Upon a Time, by all means, look up that show. It's so good. Like, even the weird seasons are good seasons. Alrighty. Well, I'm not going to sit here all by myself all night. I should probably bring in my co-host. Alrighty, kids. Put your hands together for Miss Fanci DisMount.
Hi, kids. How we doing?
Ooh, we've got some bear pride this evening.
Yes. I can't.
Yes.
Even as the matching fan.
I love it. Ooh. Well, Fanci, who, what, where?
Okay, so who am I? I am Fanci DisMount Stratton. I am from Philadelphia. I normally, when we're outside of COVID, you can catch me all over the suburban area. I host shows in Lansdale, Phoenixville, and a few other towns. So keep your eyes out. We will be coming back, hopefully, I believe in August is our tentative scheduled date. So I'll be releasing some ticket information, hopefully the next week or two. Yeah, I'm just a crazy old sassy queen that loves, do a little bit of comedy, do a little bit of drama and theater. What am I wearing tonight? Tonight, I'm giving you the only Karen look tonight. I'd like to speak to your manager and everybody's manager, okay? Yeah, yes. I literally just finished this wig because I'm working on a new Karen mix. So keep your eyes out for that when we come back from COVID. I'm gonna have a brand new Karen number. What else am I answering?
Where?
Yes.
Which you kind of did.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned earlier. Like I said, you can catch me all over the burbs. You can catch me right here, on Facebook. We'll be doing some live stuff. I pop on once in a while just to say hello to the children. But yeah, so you can catch me anywhere. Just check me out on all my social media at Fanci DisMount, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it.
Exactly. Let me pull that up for you. It is... She forgot to give me all of her information, so I didn't write it down. It's all right. Type it out for me, and I'll make sure to get it up.
Well,
okay?
You'll see it right there. It's just my name at my name, which is right there on the screen next to my picture, honey. Yes, it is.
Right. At Fanci DisMount.
Yes, honey. The one and only.
Done. Ta-da!
Yes, there we go.
So, what is new and exciting with you?
Girl, there has been so much going on. Fun fact, I have my newest project that I've been working on is diving into my ancestry through ancestry.com.
Ooh.
I figured COVID was a good time to, nothing better to do, give yourself a project. So I started digging in. I did it about 15 years ago. I'm old. The technology wasn't as good back then. They didn't have as much, in their databases. So I didn't get too far. This time, with all the records that have been scanned in and different databases they've connected to, I have been able to trace certain parts of my family tree back to like the 1300s. And I was like, I can live with that. Of course, certain branches of my family tree just kind of like disappear and die off. You start losing records, especially once we get into like people that when they immigrated over from Europe and things. But I found out that apparently on my dad's side, I'm the one branch of the tree goes all the way back to Scotland and back into like the 1400s. And apparently I'm connected somehow to like some noble families. And I was like, okay, I can live with that, honey.
Here, you take that.
Right? Yeah, give me the crown. But the most interesting thing I found, and this was really kind of weird. So my mother's half of the family, my mother grew up, she was born, raised in the South. And then in her like early teens, they ended up moving up to Pennsylvania. She met my father. Here I am. But in researching part of her family, her part of the family tree, I found this one branch that actually comes back to Pennsylvania. And that part of the family, when they came over from Europe, they ended up settling in Limerick, Pennsylvania, which is ironically the town next to where I grew up. And apparently he was very, the gentleman who came over when he came over from, I believe it was England. He was very, you know, prominent in the area, was some kind of title with taxes, and I don't know. But he was linked to this church that I knew about. It's a very old church. It's been redone a couple times. But I was able to actually go and find his tombstone from like the early 1700s.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I found the tombstone of my great grandfather 7 times out or something like that. So that was kind of fun, something quirky and different.
That's exciting.
Right?
Fun comments already. Fair warning, the first season is a bit boring until the curse breaks and I'm seeing Ursula. That's a tribute to Once Upon a Time and Miss Fanci giving us some Ursula tonight.
Just a little.
I love it. Katie Bourbon, one of our first Woo girls. It's still on. It's on Hulu. They did they jumped the shark a little bit with that show. The first couple seasons, incredible. And then I think it was season 6, they completely did a time jump. It was really weird. What I did, I actually took a year off. I didn't watch it, and then I picked it back up. So I gave myself a bit of a time jump, and I ended up really enjoying where they took that show. Let's see. What else do we have? A lot of comments about Once Upon a Time.
Evil Queen and Earth.
My nobles. Katie Bourbon plays the Duchess at the New Jersey Renaissance Fair.
All right, Duchess, yeah.
So we're going to have to get Miss Katie and Miss Fanci back together so they can talk nobility.
Yeah. That was the kind of neat part about that, is because I did, like I said, different branches on both sides of the tree. I was able to link back to 2 clans in Scotland, and then 2 or 3 prominent families in England, like so they date back to Renaissance times. Now, okay, so I got to tell y'all, of course, you know, as I'm getting back, especially in the English, you know, in the British side, I start seeing titles and things. And I'm like, maybe I'm related to English queens. Oh my goodness. I'm getting so excited. Well, then I get to a part of the family, and it was Stafford was the last name.
Okay.
I'm like, ooh, I was like, that's a big name. Like I know that's, you know, I've heard that before in history.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, of course, so I see this Humphrey Stafford. And then I get all these, you know, it gives you little leaves, and it's saying like, he was like, you know, the Duke of Buckingham and all this and whatever. So I start like Googling and researching, and it turns out like he was somehow, you know, he ended up marrying one of the Tudors and whatever. And like, somehow it was possible that I was connected to a former Queen of England who was the mother of Henry VII.
Wow.
I was ready to scream. Well, then, of course, when I actually went back in and did the research, I'm related to them, but like distant cousin.
Gotcha.
Same name, both named Humphrey, just, you know, different branches of the tree. And I was like, great, love that.
Well, you're noble to us. You are definitely a queen.
I'm still a queen, honey. Yes, I am.
Exactly. Now, speaking of fabulous queens, I want to bring out our Woo Girl of the Week.
Yeah.
We have been friends for a couple years now, and I absolutely adore her. Let's put our hands together for Miss Gabby Dixon.
Hello, hello.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
So who, what, where?
Okay, who I am?
Yes.
Well, I'm Gabrielle. Anything else about I
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm obviously not a drag queen, but I am a performer. Performed all my life. I've been interested in dabbling into being a drag king, letting my masculine side come out, so I can get some help on that. Where I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and what was the other one?
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? A wig from Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. And this dress, I honestly don't know where I got it from. I just found it in my closet, so.
It's cute. Yeah. It's fun. It's sequins. It's everything.
Yes.
I love a shiny sequins gown.
Exactly. A nice sequins gown.
Can't go wrong with sequins. You really can't.
That's so true. So Gabby's information is down below. Definitely follow her on social media. Again, if you want to tip her as well, by all means, Tip these people. Tip everyone.
Everybody.
Exactly. Now, Gabby, while we have you here, what is one thing you've always wanted to ask a drag queen?
Oh my gosh. I've been thinking about this for a while now. I think I might have asked a drag queen this before, but I just have to ask every drag queen. Okay. Because I love to wear makeup and I have oily skin and I get TMI. I sweat a lot. Okay. So what is your go-to tips for keeping your makeup on your face when you are performing and sweating, or like what are your products, like anything? I just love to know that, because
years and years ago, I learned this really weird trick for specifically performing at prides and doing outdoor gigs. I watched one of my friends take a roll or a deodorant or an antiperspirant and do her face with it, but just her forehead and her temples. And I was like, damn, that's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
Right?
I've heard that trick as well. Putting that down before you put down your foundation works wonders. Now, my favorite trick. So one, a very good primer. We all love a good primer. Setting spray is your friend. Now, I know some queens out there, they love to use the everyday products, the setting sprays from the designer labels and from Sephora. That's great if you're, just going for a nice, easy breezy, beautiful day, honey. But I'm a big girl. And let me tell you, I sweat, honey, and this face will just run right into a puddle. But I'll tell you this, I've also, there have been, especially pride events, there have been several pride events where queens will come up to me, after we finish the parade down at Penn's Landing in Philly, and they're like, how is your face still sitting? And I'm like, well, setting spray. No, this is an
Is that Ben Nye?
Yes, it is, honey.
Yes.
Ben Nye and Mehran both have very good setting sprays. And literally, I forgot today, so there we go. She's on, she's set. Carry a bottle of that with you, especially the Ben Nye one. It's kind of mentholated, so it kind of has that little, it's minty and has that cooling effect. So that's great, especially if you're in the heat. Not only you reset your face, but it gives you that little cooling moment. Carry it with you everywhere you go.
Okay.
I've recently been turned on to a new primer. I actually watched Trixie Mattel do a makeup tutorial where she had to just use things she found. I think it was a drugstore tutorial. And I found Wet n Wild Photo Focus Cucumber Primer.
Ooh.
I love cucumber. It's one of my favorite smells. I've always been a fan of it. And there are bees attacking Fanci's wig right now, but we're not going to pay attention to that. But yeah, I love it. It smells wonderful. And I love Ben Nye. I love Mehran, but I have recently been turned on to Wet n Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation.
Is that full coverage?
It is full coverage.
Okay, that's what I need.
And it goes on a little more solid than Mehran. With Mehran, you get a bit of a greasy look. With this, it's very matte. And I really like it. And then I have a mixed setting spray.
There's been a lot of, I've seen a lot of new makeup brands, not new makeup brands, but makeup brands coming out with new pan sticks. Because that, and I'm going to show my age here. Any queen of a certain age will remember the good old Max Factor days.
Yes.
Good old Max, drag queens and theater people lived by a Max Factor pan stick. Then they went out of business, and it was like, what do we do now? So of course, Mehran, is a good one, but it's a little thinner of a formula, can get kind of greasy, harder to control. The other brand, Krylon. Krylon's another one. They're a little expensive, but it's worth it. It's definitely a thicker, nicer formula. But like I said, some of these other makeup brands, especially some of the more, the more affordable makeup brands, have been coming out with these pan sticks that are actually really good. I love that.
We have a Fabulous comment. Yes, Gabby, she looks like a fairy princess.
Yeah.
That's my goal in life.
Right. And that's from
Thanks,
the beautiful Sam Nelson. Sam is an incredible human being as well. Sam, if you ever want to be a woo girl, just let me know.
Yes.
Oh,
She
we have
does.
a lot of fantastic questions, but I want to get to our first guest of the evening.
Yes.
Now, she used to be from my area, and she has since made the big move to New York. So let's welcome to the stream, Miss Angelica Kartiér.
Hi, guys.
Hey, girl. So, who are you? What are you wearing? And where can we find you?
So who am I? My name is Angelica Kartiér. I am a drag queen that used to live in Reading, Pennsylvania, but now I currently reside in New York City, practically Brooklyn. So, and where can you find me? Well, due to the age restrictions up there, you can't really see me twirling up in New York quite just yet, just another year. But down here in Reading, when I am home, you can find me all over Reading area, Lancaster area. I'm hoping Philly soon. I would like to just, make my mark all across the United States. So, and then what am I wearing? Well, this is a custom jacket that I worked on earlier this year. I did hand paint it and stud it myself. And I give you a nice gem in the holograms. Again, Karen hairstyle. That's pretty much me. I'm really neon. I love to be bright, colorful, and happy. So that's that.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Now, let's start with Gabby. Do you have any questions for Angelica?
Questions for one, I love your wig and the color
Thank
that
you
chose, the
Christmas
neon.
My mom got me this for Christmas. It was so cute.
I love it. Okay, I guess another question. I'm guessing you wear heels.
Yes.
I'm not going to assume, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
What would you say are your best tips for wearing heels, dancing in heels? What kind of heels do you gravitate towards?
I'm more of I do all types of heels. I can do a platform. I have the 8-inch Frankenstein boots that everybody likes to talk about. That's 8 inches off the ground. My biggest thing is make sure you have traction. So my thing is like if I get a new pair of heels, I take either sandpaper and I scrub the bottom of that, or actually a line of duct tape on the bottom. Just so that they stick to whatever floor. Especially like if you're performing on carpet. I know some venues have carpet in their ballroom or a really slippery hardwood floor. Always make sure that you have traction, because if you fall hard and it does hurt. So just make sure that you the bottoms of your heels, like if they're brand new and you're just wearing them, always make sure you scuff them up a little bit. So even if you don't have sandpaper or duct tape, go out on the sidewalk, put them on your foot, and just kind of scruff your foot across the pavement to get them a little ready for you. So, and then also, I did want to comment about primer. I used to use Milk of Magnesia. Now, I know that's a very old
I've
school
heard
trick.
of that.
I know it's a very old school trick, but I learned it, and it actually works super well. And it's like, I know, like me having really sensitive skin, the deodorant wouldn't have worked because a lot of them are scented and would really probably harm my skin. Setting sprays, they do work, but again, I sweat a lot, and sometimes just doesn't hold. But the Milk of Magnesia makes a barrier between your face and makeup that doesn't let the sweat come through, and it has worked wonderful brides. So
I think you'll be hard pressed to find a drag performer who does not sweat a lot.
Right.
Like, if you find them, let them know that they are a unicorn, because they're magical and they don't exist. Quick question. Angelica, is there any way for you to turn your volume up?
Sure.
We also, all of Angelica's information is down below: her Venmo, her Cash App, and her Instagram. So make sure you follow her. Also, I wanted to post this comment from Melissa Barth Woodworth. Yeah, Angelica, I'm partial. Now,
That's my mommy.
That's your mom? Aww.
Yes. That's an angel. Literally supports me 100%. Pretty sure my grandmother's on here. I'm not sure, but she's watching as well. I'm very blessed to have such a beautiful, accepting family that does love me and accept everything that I do and actually help me with it. So my mom was my little stylist today. I did FaceTime her before I got on here and said, do I look good? Do I need to take anything off? And she was just like, you look good, but yeah, she is partial. Sorry, guys, but...
No, that's amazing.
So I tell a story about Miss Angelica over here. So first off, the audacity to come up in here dressed like she from the 80s when this child was born in 2000.
Get her!
I did.
I was in the wrong era. I always said I was born in the wrong era. My thing is like the 80s. Like nothing is better than the 80s. The music, the fashion, just the walk of life. I mean, everything was just so glamorous about the 80s. And then, why not? Everything's so boring nowadays. People just wear these black crop tops and pants, like
the sweatpants.
Right. Throw a little color in your life,
It's funny though. So I was at a wedding once out in suburbia in Podunk. And it was the fire hall, a good fire hall wedding for those of you that know about those. But they had two halls, one upstairs, one downstairs. So we were outside having a little spoken treatment, and the downstairs hall had an 80s party. And there were a bunch of these like young college-age kids there, and they're dressed in their best 80s gear. And we're like, y'all got it real close. Like you got the day glow colors, you've got, the off-the-shoulder sweater, you got the side ponytail, but we're like, you missed the details. You didn't crimp your ponytail. Where are your jelly? Like, where's the jelly bracelets? And why didn't you and your Jordache jeans weren't rolled properly? I'm just saying. It's
so critical,
right? It's details. It's all about the details. So here we go. So now my fun story about Miss Angelica. So fun story. I was asked to help in a fundraiser for Reading Pride many, many moons ago. And the fundraiser was serving pancakes at Applebee's.
Oh, I did that.
I know where this is going.
So, okay, fine. Hey, a fundraiser is a fundraiser, fine. But you want me to get in full drag and serve people pancakes? We just talked about that sweating issue, baby. This is why I don't serve people. I don't do that. So fine, I go up in drag, I'm serving people, whatever. And the queen that was organizing it, her good friend was there with her daughter. And they tell us that they have one of the daughter's friends with them who, has the aspirations to be a drag queen someday. And it's this little 14-year-old boy. And we're like, okay, let's meet this little child. So we meet this little cute boy. And we're like, okay, honey, you want to be a queen someday? All right, girl, whatever. Well, flash forward 10 years later, boom, here she is, Angelica Kartiér.
Literally, my first interaction with a drag queen was Fanci.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
There's a couple others that were there, but I mean, that was like my first in-person interaction with a drag queen that wasn't on RuPaul's Drag Race, so I wasn't watching it through my TV. But yes, and she has been so kind and grateful these past couple of years. No, honestly, seriously, she was the first one to put super glue on my ears, and that hurt. So I have learned a lot, and she's been very helpful. But yes, that is very true. I did go to Applebee's and get some pancakes served by this lovely lady right there. And they were good. They were good.
Right? Now, they didn't make me cook them, thank God, because that ain't... I'll do all that.
I must have done that gig the year before you, because I remember doing that going, what am I doing with my life?
And you wanted me... we had to be there by 9:30 in the morning. Drag, and I'm like, this is unacceptable.
We have a few crazy comments. Fun fact, the way you roll your jeans 80s style is called pegging.
Oh.
Not kidding.
Okay, don't Google that, because you're going to find a whole different thing, honey.
No. Do not Google pegging.
No, that is a sexual thing that you'll find on Pornhub.
Accurate. Oh, this is fun. That's such a cute story.
It really is.
It's cute.
And it's such a full circle life moment. I mean, like she said, you know, like back then, being 14, I would have never thought that, like, you know, 6 years later, I'm standing here doing what I wanted to do and looked up to for so long. And it's honestly like, I kind of owe it to that day, because that day when I met them, it was kind of like, all right, I can do it too. You know what I mean? Like if they're in here serving pancakes, I can do it too.
Right.
So thank you for creating a monster, Fanci.
Yes, Queen, absolutely. And you know, it's one of those things that, like, now that I'm really getting old, you know, I'm over 30. I'm practically dead in gay years.
Oh,
I mean, that's terrible. You know, I mean, I've always been called mother by everybody under the sun. And I mean, it's been so cute for me to not only watch, you know, people like Angelica that I met when they were these baby queens, you know, just dreaming one day of doing drag, to now being, you know, on the road, being this huge successful queen. Watching, you know, like my drag daughters that, you know, I found them when they were these young, you know, sloppy, messy queens and just whatever. And now
they still are.
Right. But like to watch them now kind of grow up and step into my role and become these motherly roles to these now younger babies in the scene. It's just, I mean, it's one of those, like, especially at Pride Month, it just gets you all warm and tingly into all the right places, honey. I'm gonna start crying now.
None
of that.
That's what this is for. Little barefoot bubble.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Can I address one comment that, now that I've seen it, I can't get out of my head? Has anyone ever told Angelica that she sounds kind of like James Charles? Could you please say hi, sisters? Because I hear it.
Hi, sisters. It's James.
Okay, girl.
I kind of hear it.
Accurate.
It's not wrong.
I'm sorry, but hey, I'll take it where I can get it, you know?
Right. That comment was from my husband. We have another fantastic comment from someone I definitely know Angelica and I know. Hi, beauties, from Trevor Hess.
River, how are you?
That is the fabulous Miss River DeVere. River, I would like you to contact me because I want to chat with you about the show. Something we talk about a lot on this show is, are all drag queens gay men? And the answer is no. River is a fierce and fabulous queen and is heterosexual. So I definitely, I want to chat.
She is beautiful when she's all done up too.
Oh, completely.
Doesn't take a femme one to be pretty.
Nope, absolutely not. Oh, here's another moment from my dear husband. We are Jade's Misfits. Our podcast is better. We are Jade's Misfits with tips for a heavy sweater. How dare you? I know you can hear me down there.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Stupid. All right, Angelica, we're gonna send you backstage for a little bit.
Thank you, and I look forward to talking more later.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, kids, remember, if you have any questions for Angelica later, get them ready. We're going to bring her back for the end of the show. But we have another queen to meet. Now, I met this queen about a month ago. We were on WLFE-DB radio on Talk with Teddy. He put a big search out to find some drag queens, and boy, did he find some drag queens. So, kids, I want you to put your hands together for Giganta Smalls. Yeah!
Yes.
Hi!
You did an entrance. Yes.
I did. All by myself.
So, Giganta, who are you? What are you wearing? And where can we find you?
I'm Giganta. I'm sweaty.
Same.
Y'all.
Yeah, it's a popular topic this evening. I am from Connecticut. So I'm going to be moving, still in Connecticut, but I'm moving from out of my parents' house to another house. So,
Nice.
and I'm wearing a dress I made myself.
I love that fabric, by the way.
Yeah, it's very see-through, so don't look at my boobs.
Naughty.
And I have my jewelry I made myself.
Wow.
Oh,
Fabulous. We are like, I feel like I didn't get the email about being 80s tonight.
right.
Like, I feel very out of it.
I think I'm kind of 70s disco.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, caftan realness.
Right.
Yeah.
We stand Giganta. Yes. That is from Jake Rosen.
That's my friend Roselia. She's another queen.
Oh,
We are,
fabulous.
She's the host of Fierce and Fun Drag Race on Instagram, where I'm a judge.
Ooh. Well, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're almost done with season 1 of Fierce and Fun Drag Race. So if there are any queens that want to audition for season 2, you can go to the Instagram of Fierce and Fun Drag Race. And it is, there's a link to audition for season 2. So there's been a lot of fun challenges, a lot of fun drag we've seen. So, and we got a really good cast for a first season. So
Awesome. Did I spell that right?
yes.
Wonderful. Now, is this online?
Yes, it is all online. They submit to a Dropbox, and then I get the link and I judge and I fill out a scorecard, and I make some people upset.
That's the
You
name.
can't please everybody, honey.
That is. I mean, sometimes I don't think it's
Honestly.
funny or whatever. So
We have some more comments. Mommy.
that's my drag daughter, Frizzy Borden.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love everything about that. Please tell me she walks around with an axe.
She has a giant Frizzy Borden, Lizzie Borden tattoo right here, and she does a whole like Lizzie Borden number. She's fabulous. I think she should also do Gaga because she's like little and has like the same face. But I love a celebrity impersonation. So
Awesome. Ladies, any questions for Giganta?
I mean, like, I wish you would have put on a little bit of makeup tonight because yes,
Natural queen.
Yep.
I will say. So, I kind of got my start when I started drag. I was very divine inspired. So in my early days, my brows weren't even higher than they are now, and all that kind of mess. So, did you always start with this type of makeup, or did you start different and lead into it?
well, I started drag in theater, so I was very like woman makeup.
Mhm.
And then I decided when I was like going out in drag, I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not me. Like I'm a cartoon character. I'm performing like medleys of cartoon theme songs. Like I'm gonna like paint big eyes, and like my biggest drag inspiration is Sailor Moon. So
Yes.
I do the big anime eyes, and so yeah. I mean, when I got like started in like drag in the bars, I was doing this face, but at the very beginning, not so much.
Out of curiosity, which Sailor Moon character is your favorite?
Sailor Moon.
Awesome.
Of course.
I love the lead.
Yeah.
I've never seen Sailor Moon.
It's fabulous. It's like it's very campy.
Right.
I love. See, now that I laugh.
Fancy would be Queen Beryl.
Yes, we love a villain.
She's the bad guy.
So it's a funny story. So, I'm terrible at watching movies and keeping up on TV shows, things like that. So, like, a lot of this stuff, like, I mean, I know y'all can hate me later. I've never watched a Harry Potter movie. Like, I don't know any of this stuff.
Oh, we don't feature her anymore. So
Right. Yeah, good. She's been canceled.
yes.
So we love that.
Shoot.
So, of course, everybody's real big on the Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, of course, everybody, like a lot of the girls in Philly, they've done different shows where they do like the cosplay and they'll do different Pokemon characters. Zsa Zsa St. James, if you've never seen her Jigglypuff number, Google it, YouTube it. It's amazing.
I'm preparing a Pokemon number as we speak. So
I love that. Well, everybody's telling me, and I didn't know how to feel about it because I didn't know what they were talking about. But they keep telling me that I need to do the Pokemon show, and because I would make a really good Snorlax.
that's the one I'm doing.
Of course.
I put together my we're coming back next week in Connecticut with live in-person shows. So July 31st, I'm hosting Fat Girl Summer, and I'm gonna do Snorlax to Tempo by Lizzo.
I love it.
Yes.
I
Oh my
love it.
God.
Miss Anastasia just made a comment. Go to @AnastasiaDiamond97 or 95 on Instagram to see a plus size black Sailor Moon.
Come on, Queen.
Yes,
Miss,
plug.
Miss Anastasia, sir.
I love her.
Right? Amazing looks. She's always all right. This happened. A wild dismount appears. Gabby, do you have any questions for Giganta?
I guess I'm fascinated that you make a lot of your own, well, what you're wearing now, and you said your jewelry as well. How long have you been doing that, and how long does it take you to make an outfit from conception to being done with it?
Well, sometimes it takes me a long time. I'm the one queen in my group that uses non-stretch fabric. So, because everything I wear is either caftan disco or kindergarten teacher. So I'll make a circle dress out of fabric that has butterflies on it and doesn't stretch. So those take me a little bit longer. This outfit took me like an hour or so to make.
What?
Because it's so easy. It's just like a caftan with sleeves. It's a square.
I can't sew. I wish I could. That's such an amazing skill to have.
My bracelets are old rolls of duct tape.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
And my earrings are just Christmas ornaments.
I love that.
I love your balls.
Wow.
Right. Pendulous ball.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Drag does not have to be spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on things. Learn to do it yourself. We were talking about that before the show started. A lot of queens don't know how to sew. They don't know how to put things together. Have fun with it.
Because my thing was especially with sewing costumes, I took home ec back in the day in high school, and I learned how to use a sewing machine, but I never, went in depth and learned how to make patterns or how to even, work off of patterns and all that stuff. And it wasn't until I bought some costumes off of another queen, Miss Christina Kelly from the DC area. And I bought these costumes. She sent them to me, and I literally pulled them out. I'm looking at them like, this bitch. Because they were so simple. I get she just took a piece of fabric, doubled it over in half, cut a neck hole out of it, and then took another rectangle fabric and just kind of added to it. They were so basic, but it looked so neat and interesting on her. And she's like, I'm not a seamstress. She's like, but I learned how to use a sewing machine, and I figured out some basic little patterns that work for my body type. I was like, you so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I use t-shirts and stuff if I want to trace something.
Yep.
One of my favorite costumes I put together years and years ago, I played a jester at a Renaissance fair, and I made this wonderful checkerboard outfit. If you flip it inside out, it says Hanes, because it's literally a t-shirt that I cut down to be my measurements, and I just used that as a pattern.
The funny thing is, I learned later that apparently what I was doing is called draping in the professional world. Aida, when she was competing for amateur drag race in Harrisburg, they had a lot of different things where she, it's, a drag race style competition. So they get different challenges each week and they need different looks. And she was young in drag, so she didn't have a big wardrobe. So there were times where she needed new costumes. And I'm like, we didn't have the resources back then we didn't know a bunch of seamstresses and things. So I was like, well, I got a sewing machine, so we'll try and figure it out. And literally the one dress I made her, we just took a cocktail dress that she had from the Deb, laid it down in the fabric, traced it out, and she wanted to make it into a gown. So we just took a ruler, a yardstick, and just kind of angled it out and made it look flowy. And I'm sure if a seamstress looked up close to it, they'd be like, "Oh, this is terrible." But it was a stretch dress,
but if you're twirling around a dance floor for a minute, look.
See, those young gay men, they live for anything.
Couple fun comments.
I'm lying. It's the woo girls that live.
Yeah. And we live for a woo girl.
That's
right.
Me.
It's frizzle realness. Absolutely.
I'm a teacher in real life.
Exactly. We stan a crafty queen.
That is Kiki Malone. She's top 5 on season 1 of Fierce and Fun Drag Race.
Fabulous.
She's
I love
lovely.
that. And also, we stan a sewing queen. Exactly.
Rory is also from Connecticut, so all my fans are here.
Oh, that's your OnlyFans. Wait, that's something.
My drag for fans.
Drag.
That has been
Fans.
popping for quarantine.
Yep.
OnlyFans. It really
Everyone.
like my
Yes,
best friend started
everyone.
on OnlyFans, and I couldn't be happier for her.
Yes, make that money.
Yeah, I love it.
Jade, where is Roger Rabbit? Your hair and outfit. I am a little Jessica right now.
No, it's
Oh,
like
I love that.
Yes.
I might have to make that a thing. I'm not pulling this corset any tighter, but yeah.
Just make some bigger hips.
Just bigger pad.
Yeah. Bigger head for your head.
All
Okay,
right.
so I have a question before we move any further.
Mhm.
I'm old here, people. I need help. So I know this is a new phrase. Well, not a new phrase, but it's a phrase the kids are using. This whole like we stand things.
Yes.
I understand what they mean by it, but what does it actually mean? Where did this phrase come from?
Stan.
Yes.
So it comes from it means like super fan.
Right.
But what it comes from is I think what it comes from is the Eminem song Stan.
Yes.
Where
Okay.
like he's a super fan of Eminem and he's like really crazy for Eminem.
Got it.
Because I only hear it in reference to like drag queens and K-pop fans, so like I don't know the connection between Eminem and that demographic. So
It's so funny because we were talking about it the other day, just about like the different generational, like, the lingo and things, like, like my parents, when they were my age, or a little younger, was grown up, everything was like far out and groovy. They were the 60s, the 80s, 90s children, everything was rad and all that kind of stuff. And now it's like we're up to this, like we stand things and that's a bop. And I'm like, a what?
Oh, yeah.
What's a bop?
I get so confused sometimes, but
It's how getting over.
I do too, honestly.
all right, we have one more question, and it's a mouthful. Giganta, I'm a huge fan of your aesthetic. Do you find that your awesome bigger makeup style is misunderstood in your area by more fishy or traditional queens? Also, do you feel that famous queens like Trixie Mattel, Kim Chi, and Rock'em Sakura have made it more acceptable in the mainstream to be over the top?
I found when I first started that a lot of queens were like, what is that? But it's very like Connecticut is very small. So I immediately stood out. And I immediately was getting all the bookings because they're like, Giganta, not only is she like interesting, she's funny. And then like people from other states kind of recognize that. So it helped me stand out in that way. I do get a little perturbed that I'm constantly compared to queens from Drag Race that have heard of Under Eye White. So, but I did say, I was texting my boyfriend who is in the chat, he's Angio Queen, that I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait for some fucking pleb at the bar to be like, oh my God, you look just like Rock'em Sakura. Like, oh my God. And then I looked at her again and I was like, shit, I kind of do look like her. Like, we have a similar eye shape.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. She seems really cool and I want to be your friend.
Isn't that the word? Like, I competed for a pageant years and years ago, and as they're lining us all up for the end for the results, I forget what the first award was, but I won it, and someone was just like, yes, Ben de la Creme.
Oh,
And I was like, you know what? I'll take it, because
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take it. But like Trixie Mattel, I've met her and she's not like super great. I love all the other ones though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Kids, we are going to move on to our next segment. Now, Miss Fanci is going to be offering a bit of drag advice for everyone, and the rest of us will be back in a few minutes. So, Fanci, take it away. And turn your mic back on.
Yes, thank you. Things we do. So this month's segment of Fanci's fun thing, little advice from mother. So obviously there's been tons of things going on lately. Obviously with the COVID, and then the Black Lives Matter protests and things like that. And then we're in Pride Month, and there's a lot of debate on Facebook with politics and this and that and who and how and that. So I've been on many different sides of the game, depending on which topic we're talking about and where we're at. So it's been kind of crazy just trying to figure out, how you need to react to things, how you need to kind of where you fit into that puzzle. So I recently saw a little cartoon that I posted on my Facebook. You can check it out. If you go on my Facebook, you'll see it. It's probably a couple statuses down. But the little cartoon was basically these two eagles sitting in their little recliners, reading the paper, having some coffee. And the eagles were saying to each other, like, once the eagle says, "Do you think that the owl is the predator?" And the other eagle says, "Well, I mean, I've never had a problem with the owl. I don't know, no, like, he's never tried to be a predator toward me." So they're like, yeah, like, really? And then, the other owl says, "I don't know what that mouse is talking about, honey." And it was such like a cute little cartoon, but so poignant. And it kind of leads me back to, it does relate back to drag, but it also relates just to the world in general, especially during Pride Month, but obviously this also applies in the Black Lives Matter movement and just in, everyday life with anybody you're interacting with. When somebody is trying to tell their story, whatever it is, whether it's, a traumatic thing they've been through or something like that, we need to understand that maybe we don't see it from our perspective. We don't see racism, homophobia, xenophobia, whatever it may be. We don't experience that. We've never seen that, but they have, and that's their experience. So, when you find yourself being the eagle in life, and you're listening to someone tell about their experience, take a step back and try to see it from their side. And I feel like if we could do, especially on Facebook, if we could do a lot more of that, try to take a moment and look at it from the other person's angle, we could avoid a whole lot of wasted time arguing and, getting crazy on Facebook before, and really get some work done and make some progress. Because when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, you can, have a better discussion. So
That's true.
My word of advice for the day:
learn to listen.
Right. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And, I think that's definitely something we can all absorb right now. The two of us, we're Caucasian, but our job now is to listen and to learn.
Yep.
And that's what we've been dedicating ourselves to doing.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, and, kind of on another piece of that, like in the past week alone, I've been all three of those characters. I've been the mouse, the eagle, and the owl. Mm-hmm. Because when it comes to the Black Lives Matter situation, obviously being Caucasian, I'm the eagle. I don't know, like I've never experienced it myself, so I have to listen. But then I've been dealing with some pride-related issues with some straight allies where now I'm the one, I'm in essence the mouse. This is my experience, and you're not hearing me. And then we get on to, if you're in the owl position where you're doing something that's hurting someone, you have to be able to know how to respond or act whenever you're in any of those positions,
Yep. Wonderful quote right here. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply.
Absolutely.
And when we change that to listening to understanding, I think the world's going to be a better place.
Absolutely.
But let's have some fun. You ready to bring everybody back?
Let's do it, girl. I'm ready.
Alrighty. We're going to bring everybody back now. We're going to have some fun.
They're everywhere.
Woo!
Now, earlier today, well, first of all, I have to get this out of the way. because Fanci, Giganta, and Angelica right now reminded me of my childhood.
Yes,
Yeah.
You are the misfits right now from Gem and the Holograms. I don't even know if I use that right, but I stand it.
That's a big inspiration to my drag. It always has been, the bright colors, and I mean, it wasn't out when I was a baby, but I did go back and watch old episodes of it. But it is a very amazing cartoon. If you guys haven't seen it, the viewers, then go watch it because it is cute. And you might want to bring some color into your life too after seeing it.
Exactly. There was a comic book artist who revamped Gem and the Holograms just a couple of years ago, and it was so cool because she made so many positive changes. Giganta and I were talking about the fact that Stormer's a big girl now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is plus size, she is full figured, and she is fabulous.
Yes.
They changed Jetta's ethnicity. Jetta was originally supposed to be black.
Is she still British though?
She's Australian.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yep. But yeah, like, they made her black again, and I'm like, that's beautiful. I love that. But speaking of toys from our childhood, I thought it would be fun to talk about toys from our childhoods. In fact, I did some homework and I found the number one toy for each year we were all born.
Terrified.
I can't wait.
And I want to find out, without Googling, who can figure out what our birth years were.
No, all right.
I'm shady as hell. And you know what? I'm not going to dish it out without being able to take it. So we're going to start. I did this in two ways. The first picture we're going to see is the top toy from the year we were born, and then the top Barbie from the year we were born.
Yes.
So the top toy the year I was born was Strawberry Shortcake.
Wait, I got a
I
fashion
love
icon.
Strawberry.
Yep.
Yes, literally.
I love her.
Strawberry Shortcake.
I love her.
She's delicious.
Exactly. And it's interesting. This really draws onto my childhood. The top Barbie the year I was born was Malibu Barbie.
Malibu Barbie.
You know what got me? Malibu Barbie.
That's not me. I was a ballerina. Graceful, elegant. I remember the Malibu Barbie. Actually, I remember when I was a little homo, one of the first toys I had was Malibu Skipper, because I just thought she was the coolest thing ever. And I would get all these boy toys,
Barbie,
like the Mego Batman, and I put it on Skipper and made her Batgirl.
Oh, yes.
I was like, this is cool to me. I also remember those toys were weird because they had tan lines. It was really weird.
We don't stand that.
No, we do not stand that.
We don't stand.
Let's see, can anybody guess what year I was born? We have a guess for 83. No.
22.
81. No. I am the old broad on the show.
I'm going to say 78.
Fanci is closest without going over.
73.
Nope. Keep going the other way.
75.
Nope.
79.
Yep. 79.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm a child of the 70s. Granted, I remember nothing of the 70s because I was... Listen here, Anastasia Diamond. She says 43.
1643.
1643. All right, there you go.
Oh, no.
All right, who do we have next? All right, we're going to go with Giganta next. The top toy the year Giganta was born was the Super Nintendo.
You gotta be kidding me.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding you.
This is my brand.
Right? I love that. And the top Barbie the year you were born was Pilot Barbie.
Oh.
Amelia Earhart Barbie.
I thought it was like Celebration Barbie, but
Yeah, like it's interesting. 3 of you got very practical jobs for your Barbies.
The
So-
younger ones.
Guess what year Giganta was born? I like this. Babies, all of you.
It's true.
Thanks, Angelica's mom.
1970 right there.
We have a guess for 87.
Oh, that was not the 80s, honey.
Nope.
Super Nintendo was my third gaming system.
Yep. I remember all of my friends were getting a Super Nintendo, and I was still trying to beat Super Mario Brothers.
I was still rocking Atari playing Pong and Scout.
Yes. 91.
yeah,
It.
Oh,
he's in it. Good job.
Fabulous.
Good 90s, baby.
Alrighty, let's see. Who do we have next? Next, we have Gabby. Now,
I'm interested.
top toy the year Gabby was born was Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies! I love Beanie Babies!
Right?
Oh,
Those
So,
are worth a lot of money now.
and
yes.
Barbie, the year you were born, was Police Officer Barbie. Yeah,
I aged poorly.
police officer.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, how about that?
That was well-trained police
Barbie
Barbie
is a
that
good
does
cop.
not use
She is a good cop.
he does
She's
not
a good
use,
cop, but she left that job. She's
Right.
out.
She did.
She
She's
was like,
not even
"I can't do
carrying
this
any
anymore."
weapons.
Right.
Oh.
She uses her de-escalation skills. She knows how to talk
Right.
to people.
Wait, is that police Barbie or is that like rent-a-cop security Barbie at the nursing home?
I can't.
I
I
like.
see a close guess on there on the chat.
Yep, we had a close guess, not quite. 1990. I think
Barbie
we're
had a
moving in the
long
wrong
Look at my
direction.
face. How old do I look?
Right.
I should look younger than the year I'm born, so
Ooh,
I
not
can't
really
with that last
Barbie.
comment. I can't.
Barbie had a long talk with Christy, and she left that job.
Oh my god! All cop-
Rory's comment, I can't.
They killed Barbie.
Nobody's guessed the right year though.
You're a woman of mystery.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Look at that.
We're
She-
close.
All I know is that my cousin was born the same year you were, but I'm not going to give it away.
Now we're
Oh,
getting crazy.
798.
That's the year I graduated high school.
I'm liking those guesses.
Gabby, do you want to tell them?
It is 1993.
93. Yes.
Yes.
This was a fun game. We might have to do this more often.
Yes, this is so
This
fun.
was fun.
All right, you ready for Fancy? Are you ready?
Okay, wait. Before you show this toy, if it is the toy I think it is, I'm gonna be real angry because it traumatized me as a child.
Huh. The
There's
top toy.
Toy.
there's 2 toys I have in my head. One traumatized me, the other one I love deeply. So we'll see.
Interesting.
We'll
Well,
see
the
my
top
reaction.
toy I saw, and the top toys are based on Reader's Digest,
Right.
was the Hacky Sack.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yep. And the top Barbie was Dream Date Barbie.
Oh,
Of course it
Look
was.
at that gown.
Beautiful.
Don't I look
outfit.
gorgeous? It was
I
modern.
Fancy, you look great.
I remember that Barbie because that frilly thing, you could move in different directions. Like, Barbie's a drag queen. Let's be honest.
So I'm gonna give you
I mean,
a couple little hints here. So one, the toy that I was thinking you might show that made me real scared because it terrified me as a child was the My Buddy doll.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the My Buddy doll, the movie Chucky was based off of the My Buddy. It was a real toy. It was like a like a child-sized like doll, like 3-4 foot tall. And then they made this Chucky movie, and I'm like, burn the My Buddy. He has to go.
He's gone.
Exactly like it. It was terrifying. And little girls, instead of having My Buddy, they got
Kid Sister. Right. And she was kind of cute. They never made a movie with Kid Sister terrorizing and killing people.
Mhm.
My Buddy.
She was literally just called Kid Sister.
Yep. Kid Sister.
Kid Sister.
And My Buddy.
Yep.
And My Buddy.
Derek had My Buddy and loved him.
Oh, no. I was cool with him until I saw that movie, and I was like, nope, we're done.
Nope, he got to go.
How long did
the toy that I put, and I wish I still had it, was Teddy Ruxpin.
Aww.
I love my Teddy Ruxpin. For those of you who don't know what that is, it was a teddy bear that you would put a. Oh, Anastasia, you're fired. I know.
That's what I said.
Anastasia said 1970.
Shady as hell. No, ma'am. I'm done with you.
How long did the movie come after you had your doll?
The first Chucky movie, I think, came out. What was it like? I think it was late 80s, early 90s. So
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, figure that out.
Barbie and the Rockers.
88.
Yeah. So okay. It wasn't long after the doll was released. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was only a few years.
Yeah, and the My Buddy doll is creepy looking.
Oh yeah.
Like bowl cut.
What's up?
I mean,
Look it up.
red striped shirt. It was just weird.
Yep. So we have a 1981. Nobody's gotten it yet.
Hateful, all of you.
Yep. Teddy Ruxpin and Barbie and the Rockers.
Those were the best Barbies ever.
Oh yeah.
Now, see, I did enjoy, as a young gay boy, I did enjoy a Barbie playing dress up, but I was much more into G.I. Joe. And that got my parents very hopeful because they thought, oh, he likes to play with military men. What they didn't realize was I wasn't building an army, honey. I was building a family. We were playing homemaker with G.I. Joe and his buddy.
82.
Y'all are like tap dancing right around it.
Right. 85.
I'll give it to you. Y'all are close. It was 1984.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good year. Very good year.
She is pre-Gem in the Holograms. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
because
right.
that shows so much. I know what year it came out.
So, funny story about 84. So I was born literally, I think, like less than a month away from Prince Harry.
Oh.
And ironically, my brother was like a month away from Prince William. So apparently my parents and Charles and Guy were like, on the same schedule and such.
Well, you did say you were royalty, so it's that
Right?
royal connection.
Hello. But it was funny because my mom got real upset because, like Diana announced she was pregnant and the whole world cheered and it went crazy. She's like, I announced I'm pregnant and what? Congrats. Like,
Good for you. All right. We have one more. Angelica.
oh, Lord.
Now, we already tap danced around her age already, but the top toy the year Angelica was born was the Razor scooter.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
Shut up.
My ankles feel so attacked right now.
Good.
My
You
ankles
should.
are always
Yes.
stuffed.
And we're all going to love this. The top Barbie that year was presidential candidate Barbie.
Yes.
I love that.
I
I
can't.
It should be President Barbie, not presidential candidate.
Right?
I don't think they could actually say President Barbie because it was listed as presidential candidate Barbie.
Yeah, because we,
That's interesting.
It probably was because it was an election year.
And Mom, you can't answer this.
What was that, Angelica?
Said Mom can't answer this. She knows what
Yeah,
you're
well,
that's
your mom would know.
2008.
She was there, girl. Ding, ding, ding. I think we have a winner.
Ta-da!
Ding, ding, ding. We got it.
2000.
By Jake
That's because
Rose.
you and Roselia are the same age.
I'm what?
Well,
Jake Rosen, Roselia, you guys are the same age.
nice.
Ooh, work.
What are you children doing up so late at night?
Right.
Sorry, that was my mom.
They're watching Mummy.
Accurate.
Go to bed.
But yep, that was 2000. That was fun. We need to do stuff like that more often.
Yes.
That was fun.
Let me just clarify for all you folks out there in technology land. Understand that betwixt all the hosts and guests of the show currently, we span four different decades.
Yep.
Wow.
That's crazy.
We've got 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000.
The millennium.
Yep. That's wild. And it's that goes to show like drag knows no age as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
I just want to say this to make everybody hurt. I wasn't alive when Britney Spears released Baby One More Time. Let me just put that out there. That's like that's the thing that hurts the most people because everybody knows that song and I was born after that song was released. So
baby, how am I supposed to know?
Roselia, I had to stay up to watch Auntie Giganta on the podcast. Accurate.
Lord.
So, does anybody out there have any questions for any of us, or do any of you gals have questions for each other?
Why?
I asked myself that.
Just why?
right.
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. Giganta, why do you do drag?
I wouldn't have anything else to do.
That's fair.
No, it combines like well, I always did theater when I was younger, and I went to school for theater, so like I always had like ideas of like putting together my own things that had to do with like what I really was interested in was like anime and video games.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do that on stage in some way where I could like become Sailor Moon or like become some kind of anime character, I was like really into that. So, and then I was really good at it, so I kept doing it.
That's awesome. Angelica?
Well, I was always a very artistic kid. I was not very prominent in the theater area. I mean, I do it now, obviously, is what I do. But I had my fair share of musicals, but they just weren't my thing. But I always liked the fact of, like, my sister's Barbies, God bless them, they went through it. Because I was never bought one of my own, but they went through it. And, like, cutting their hair, drawing on them with markers, giving them new makeup styles. I would take tissue paper, anything to make a new outfit for them up to my standard. And like the thing about
to your standard.
Yes, because some of those clothing were butt ugly down boots. And I wanted something that looked different. And I, like I said earlier, I was, 6, 7, I think, when Lady Gaga came on the scene. And she was a really big inspiration to me as like a artistic outlet. And I just thought, what this art form brings in everything. I mean, you have hair, you have makeup, you have outfits, you have accessories. You get to personally be your own Barbie, your own thing. And that, I mean, I was always playing with dolls when I was little. G.I. Joe, I had one. I think I buried him in my grandma's yard, and we haven't found him yet, but I don't know. But
the earth has reclaimed him now.
Yes. And I was always with the Barbie. So like my thing was like, I can do this and make myself my own Barbie and have it up to my standard of what I want a Barbie to look like. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, tell everybody this. If you ever want to try drag, do it. Don't even question it. I don't care. I mean, try not to look busted because those pictures will haunt you later, but do your best. You know what I mean? Like, it's honestly, like, it's such a fun time. I mean, I'm honestly the happiest I can be when I'm dressed up like this because it's fun. It's meant to be fun, and that's why I've done it, and I'm going to continue to do it. So how about you, Miss Fanci?
Well, so, I don't think of myself as a Barbie per se. I like to think of myself more like a Mr. Potato Head. I just stick things on and in different places. It's something different. It's a little more like Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
But no. So yeah, kind of the same story. I was a theater junkie my whole life. The funny thing about it is this. So I've been a full-time drag queen and producer or whatever for 6-7 years now. And this is actually the first time in my life I'm using my degree. I got a degree from Wagner College in arts administration, so like the business side of the arts. And, after college, I had a falling out with the professional theater world and just realized I was like, this is not what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like, it's too cutthroat. It's too nasty. No. So I worked a lot of corporate jobs and did all that. Never, like, I did drag in college, for theater stuff and fun stuff and parties and whatever. Gave away all my drag. Never thought I'd do it again. And then flash to 2011, I went in drag as a costume to a Halloween party at a gay bar I was the DJ for. They had a drag show that night. It snowed that year, and a few queens couldn't make it because of the weather. So the host was like, "Hey, girl, since you're just on vacation," I was like, what? They made me do 2 numbers, and I was like, oh, crap. So I faked it, and afterwards, the bar owner that was there was like, that karaoke gig you're starting in 2 weeks, you're hosting that in drag. The show host was like, "You're at all my shows from now on." I was like, okay. I had no costume stock. I had no nothing. So all of a sudden overnight I became a drag queen, and I never expected it, but it took everything that I love and wrapped it all into one. It took the performance and the theater and the creativity, but it also took, that I've always been very motherly and maternal, and it kind of gave me that, it turned me into this mother and this, caretaker for so many people in our community. That public figure and the political side of it. I've always been involved in that, and it kind of put me in that position. So it's really just taken all my loves in life and mushed it into one pretty ball of fabulous.
I want to throw this question to Gabby, because while you don't do drag, you are an incredible performer. What makes you keep performing, and what inspires you?
That is a good question. I just love, it's definitely a way to express my emotions. I'm a very emotional person, and I can, express that. I love playing different characters. I love getting to, really dive in and explore the different characters and be outlandish or be sad or be all these different emotions. I think that is what really drives me. And yeah.
That's amazing.
What about you, Jade? I don't know. I want you.
I have story very similar. I've always been a performer. I've always knew I wanted to make people smile every day. And as an actor, I started gravitating more toward feminine characters. Like my bucket list characters, Giganta and I have talked about this before. I want to be Bertha and Pippin. Basically, if Andrea Martin has played the character, I want to play the character.
Absolutely.
I want to, any character in Noises Off, count me in. Any character in 6, even though I can only sing Anna of Cleves right now.
Thank God. It's fine.
But it's fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, like now I get to play dress up all the time, and I absolutely love it.
Right.
We do have a very fun question, and we're going to play a quick little round of Never Have I Ever.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is if you have done the thing, you take a drink, I think, which will be interesting. So, never have I ever fallen asleep in a face full of makeup and woke up to it all on the pillowcase, and go.
Wait, if you have done that, you take a drink?
If you have done that, you
If you have done it, you take a drink.
I think so.
Yes, that's how that works. I was a trained fraternity boy. I played this game many times. But no, I have never. I have fallen asleep in makeup, but every time it's happened, it's been on purpose because I had a really early gig the next day, and I was not putting the full face back on.
Right. I heard a story once about a queen who had a late night gig and an early morning gig. So she saran wrapped her face and poked nose hole. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. That's a great way to die.
Bad nose hole moves.
I put my face on and slept like a mummy and just,
Exactly. Like, let's see, we have a couple more questions. Angelica, can you speak on your artwork and where you pull your inspiration from?
Okay, well, I do have a very unique style of art. I love to draw women that looked like they left the. My artwork has been compared to Pearl's artwork. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. She does draw very the same thing, but I mean, a lot of people, with her overshadowing my stuff, it seems like I've, come along, but ever since I was little, I've always been obsessed with the female anatomy, which is crazy because I don't even like it. But the one thing that I remember is I used to go to church on Sunday, and I remember the one time I almost made my grandma and mom piss herself because I was drawing boobs on the bulletin that they handed out at church. And something about the female body, and yes, this is my artistic style. I love to draw women that look like they have been through 50 plastic surgeons all over the world, can't breathe, can't eat, nothing, and all they do is just, but I pull a lot of inspiration from plastic surgery. I find plastic surgery absolutely so cool and so interesting just because, like, you can change somebody's face without like actual makeup and put something in there. I mean, I was thinking about doing that for my profession before when I was looking at colleges and stuff like that, but that's a lot of school. But I don't know, like, just really, I love plastic surgery and I love really weird out of the box women. There's another example. She just got her nose done. And I just love the fact of fantasizing with glamour, but like on the really opposite end where it's like it's glamorous but it's ugly. Like, I love stuff where it's like so ugly but it's glamorous.
I love that. That's fun. Like, it's very captivating.
I love it. It's my favorite thing.
We have a couple more questions here, which is wonderful. For each of you, favorite Rue Girl and favorite local queen from your area.
Ooh.
Who wants to start? Not it. I'll go.
Go ahead.
My favorite Rue Girl is Mrs. Kasha Davis. I have never had a bad time with her. She is super fun. She's super down to earth, very professional. I've worked with her a couple times and she's always been great. My favorite local girl, there's a queen in my area. Her name is Poison.
Legendary.
I have a lot of favorites, but Poison is the one who comes to mind right now. She's, a dance instructor, so she can dance the house down, but she's also, again, one of the kindest, sweetest people who is horrible about being on time. She will never be on time for anything, but I can't imagine doing a show and not asking her to be a part of it. Like, she's just incredible.
She is the personification of legendary.
Yes.
If you guys ever get to watch her perform, watch her. And she smells good too.
That's true.
You can
go on YouTube and look up Poison Elmo Elmo song.
Her Elmo and her yodeling overtures are my favorite.
Yes. Fanci.
Yes. So my favorite Rue Girl, the easy answer is always Ginger Minge, because I knew Ginger before Drag Race. And, obviously we were good friends then, and she made it in the race. So, she's the easy answer. But the answer I'll give tonight, which was, I love this queen because when I watched her on her season, I was like, ugh, I don't like you. Like, I don't like this attitude. I don't like, I was not a fan. And then I've worked with a lot of Drag Race girls, as show producing and things. And one of the clubs I used to work for in Philly, I would play like star handler, and I would pick the girls up from the airport and take them to the hotel, get them to the club, all that kind of stuff. So I got to know some of these girls, a little more intimately. And this particular queen, when I finally got to work with her in person, I fell in love. She was the sweetest thing. It was Alyssa Edwards.
Nice.
I don't know what it was, but on her season, I was just like, I don't like you. I don't like you. And then, like I said, meeting her in person, I was just like, I got to see the real her. I got to, dropped the carriage a little bit, and it was like, bitch, I love you. Like, she was so much fun, so sweet. We kikied about pageants because she's an old pageant girl. So we were talking about all the old pageant days, things like that. But yeah, so she was really cool. Local queens. There's so many. Okay, so one of the local queens that I'm absolutely in love with, that I am actually working with, I'll be seeing this Sunday. She is an older queen that has been around a long time, legendary in Philadelphia. Her name is Andrea L'Amour. And Andrea is, she is the mother of mothers. If she starred in Pose, she would be like Blanca.
Nice.
She's that hard-nosed mother, but she takes care of babies, and she's just sweet as she can be. They actually recently did an article on her and her fiance, and just talking about her story and all these children. Like she said, she estimates she's got about 80 some children, and she has these big Sunday dinners and has all the kids over. And what I found so interesting about her, so she is a Black trans pastor and a United States Army vet.
Wow.
And I was like, I know all
I
the
love her already.
Army vet. So when I read this article, I was like, okay, Army vet, like yes, queen. I'll post the article on my Facebook. But yeah, she's such an interesting person and just the sweetest thing, and has done so much for the community. So I'll say her right now. She's my favorite.
I love that. Gabby.
Well, my favorite RuPaul girl got taken, but it is Alyssa Edwards. I loved Alyssa Edwards. I just do. My favorite local queen, of course, is Jade DeVere. Another choice.
Aw, thank you, girl. All right, I'll send you the check soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angelica?
I would say my favorite girl off Drag Race would have to be Detox. I had the privilege and the opportunity to meet her in person thanks to DragCon. I went with my mom. She is the most down to earth, personable, sweetest person you will ever meet. We came in to the booth. My mom was with. We came into the booth to take pictures, and she took the time out of her day to talk and get to know and actually sit down. It wasn't one of those where, okay, you paid $50, here's your picture, now leave. It was, so how long have you been doing this? What's your name? And who is this? My mom made her cry because she's a very emotional person. And again, with having the support of my mom, that made her emotional. But she is the sweetest person ever. And she doesn't take any bullshit. And that's one thing that I love about Queens, is that she knows what she's talking about, she knows how she wants it to be, and she will let it know, and that's how she wants it to be. And she has herself together, and I think she's beautiful as a person and as an entertainer. But yeah, she really holds a place in my heart, just because of how amazing and professional she is as a person. My favorite local queen, there's a lot of super talented people from Pennsylvania, and everybody knows this. So, but I spend the majority of my time with this queen in and out of drag, and it's Hexa. Hexa is uberly talented, and I actually am her drag mom. I put her in drag for the first time. I was doing drag way before, I think 2 years before she started doing it, but sweetest person you'll ever meet out of drag, most charismatic person, and she can turn the house down when she performs. I mean, if you ever get a chance to see her perform, she's everything. And we are like the tightest of sisters, just because, like I said, we do spend time out of drag as well in drag and gigs, and she's just amazing. So if you ever have the time to go see her, go see her. But like I said, there are plenty of talented people out there. That's just my good Judy. So
excellent. Giganta.
My favorite Ru girl is Latrice Royale.
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues with how they portray plus size queens on Drag Race. And I think the only one that has ever come out unscathed is Latrice.
Yes.
But I wrote "Look sickening, make them eat it" on my graduation cap from college, and she signed it.
Aw.
So, and she, I don't know, she liked my caftan when she came to my local bar. So,
Awesome.
my favorite local queen right now is Miss October. Who she's fabulous. She's got such great energy. And she's really fun to work with. But I'm obsessed with so many of our local drag entertainers, like Frizzy Borden. That's a great one.
I think it's hard to not be obsessed with the performers you're around all the time.
It really is hard.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to pick one, because you're just like, there's so much talent, and it's like you gravitate towards the one that you hang out with the most or you connect with the most, but there's just so much talent all over the world.
They All Stars. They tried to make her look like an idiot, and she's not an idiot.
Exactly.
She deserves to be top 3 on season 4.
And
Latrice deserves everything. Like everything that life has to offer.
And they didn't even bother casting a fat girl for season 5 of All Stars. So what's that about?
Yeah.
Well,
some of the girls are bigger than they were. No shade, but
yeah. Well, they also I don't know. They won't cast Stacey Lane Matthews for real. So
yeah. Well, we do have one more question, and it's a fun one. What kind of music does everyone like to perform? And we'll start with Giganta this time.
That's my boyfriend. I perform mostly mixes. I tend to lean towards comedy. I also I've been doing a lot of musical theater songs lately.
Nice.
This is the era of the stand there and lip sync song. I tried to do this song from Newsies the other day, and I just couldn't learn the words fast enough. But I also will perform pop music. I do Lizzo all the time.
Nice.
So that's it.
Fun. Angelica?
Yes.
I like a lot of I used to do very dramatic numbers. I mean, I still do, because I teeter-totter in and out of the different types of drags that there are. But I love and I get most comfortable with techno, pop punk music. So just because I feel like it fits my aesthetic with the neon and stuff like that. So if you get into the techno, I love Aqua.
Yes.
Everybody only knows Barbie Girl, but they released a bop back in 2011 called "How Are You Doing?" That is my go-to song, and I can sing that. If you put on the karaoke version, I can probably do every word of that. But I love, just really techno, very fun music, and just bright, stuff that makes people smile and just puts on a show. So
fun. Same question for Gabby.
What songs do I like to well, I of course obviously love musical theater. And definitely some pop and rap. I don't know if I can rap. I like to think I can rap, but I don't know if I can, but I'll pretend.
Beautiful comment right here. Gabrielle has a wonderful voice. Love hearing her sing from her man.
My boyfriend. He's biased.
Boyfriend's asking the good questions tonight.
Right? These are great questions. How about you, Fanci?
Well, I'm sure there'll be a lovely comment from my beautiful husband out there. Oh, wait, I don't have that. So anywho, so I'm known for my comedy. I'm known for filth comedy. I tend to go for the double entendre, the sexual comedy. Especially nowadays that I perform for a lot of straight folks. A lot of the shows I do, we get the LGBT crowd, but it's predominantly the Beckys and the Karens and the Brads and all that good stuff. So it's really easy. You give them a real big, dick joke, and it's like, "Ooh, you're so funny." But what I love to perform, what just makes my heart sing. I love dramatic numbers, and I either love doing a huge power ballad inspirational number, or I'm going to literally rip your heart out, stomp it on the floor, and make you sob.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I don't get to, like, the inspirational numbers, I get to do those every Pride or like any kind of shows like that where, big uplifting number. But my favorite are really doing these tearjerker story songs. But of course, you can't bring down a show. Everybody's there to have fun. But like the one mix I made, it's literally Pink's Family Portrait into Kelly Clarkson's Piece by Piece. Mm-hmm. When I do it just right, you'll be stopping by the end of the number. And if you don't, you're a heartless bitch.
And that's on that.
Right?
You, Jade?
I like you name it, I'll do it. I really love musical theater. I've done opera numbers before. I'm not a big pop queen, just because I don't listen to the radio enough to know what the kids are standing.
We don't need another one.
Standing? Did I do it right?
You did it. You did. Good job.
Hey, I did a grown-up thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also love I love Aqua. Like that was my whole 1997. But yeah,
Angelica's too, definitely.
Yeah. Anything that's gonna make people smile, sign me up for it.
Right.
Go for it.
I had a thing. I don't really love to do uplifting numbers at Prides because I'm like, that's what everyone's doing. So yeah. my favorite thing to do at Pride is I'll take a number about an animal and I just make a whole mix about it. So I did what does the fox say? And it was like, all true foxes are part of the genus Vulpes. And I did the spooky laughing track that all the spooky queens do about hyenas.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you all for being here this evening. This has been an absolute joy.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure you follow all of these fantastic performers. We have Miss Fanci DisMount. Her Instagram and Venmo is right there. We have the lovely and talented Gabrielle Dixon. We've got from New York, but hanging out in Reading right now, Miss Angelica Kartiér. I'm so glad to see her again, Miss Giganta Smalls.
Yes.
And I am your host, Jade DeVere.
Yay!
Now, if you have enjoyed yourself, please let us know by going to insidethedragcloset@gmail.com. And next week, we have another fabulous show lined up. I will be joined by my co-host, Scarlett Overkill. And our woo girl of the week is Miss Shauna. And our special guest next week will be Miss Gay Pennsylvania 2019 Divinity Cruise and Miss Gay America 2000, the year Angelica was born. Katia Lee Love will be here. So I hope you tune in then. In the meantime, good night, kids.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us here at Inside the Drag Closet with Jade and her fabulous team and special guests. See you next Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on WLFE-TV.com.